You look outside. The sky is gray, no sun in sight. You think, there is no sun today, so there is no need for sunscreen. The bottle sits on your shelf. It sits in the same spot every morning, next to your other things. You walk past it, the same way you walk past it most mornings. You leave the house. You do this almost every day. For you, sunscreen belongs to the beach, or to a day when the sun feels strong, the kind of day where you can feel real heat on your skin. A gray morning like this one does not feel like a sunscreen day at all. Here's a quick question before we begin. What type of sunscreen user are you? Comment 1 if you apply sunscreen daily. Comment 2 if you only use it when going to the beach and on very sunny days. Do you use sunscreen every day or only on sunny days? Let me know in the comments. Think about it for a second. We will come back to this. You do not know it yet, but the sun is still up there, somewhere above those clouds, even on a morning like this one. And whatever it is doing to your skin does not wait for blue sky. Today we are talking about one very small habit. 30 seconds of sunscreen every single morning before you leave the house. Not just on sunny days, not just at the beach. Every morning, no matter what the sky looks like. This is not about hiding from the sun. It is not about being afraid to go outside. This is about one small step added to a routine you probably already have. A step that quietly protects something you will not see change for a long, long time. Here is the question for today. Why does 30 seconds of sunscreen every morning, even on a cloudy day, matter so much for skin you will not see change for years? By the end of this episode, you will know the answer. And you will know exactly what to do tomorrow morning. One small thing, 30 seconds. That's all. Let's start. So, why do so many people skip sunscreen on a morning exactly like the one we just talked about? It is not carelessness. It is not that people do not care about their skin. There are real reasons. And once you hear them, you will understand. Start with the sky itself. When you cannot see the sun, it feels safe to think it is not doing anything. Gray clouds look like a kind of shield, a soft blanket between you and the sky above. The sky simply does not look dangerous, so the thought of sunscreen never even shows up. And it is not only the sky. It is also the picture in your head. For a lot of people, sunscreen belongs to one scene. A beach, bright sunlight, sand under your feet. An ordinary morning, walking to work or sitting at a desk, looks nothing like that picture. So sunscreen never makes it into a day that does not look like a beach day. Then there is something else. There is no fast feedback. Your skin does not change color the moment you walk outside without sunscreen. It does not hurt right away. Nothing happens today that tells you skipping it was wrong. And without that quick signal, a habit has a hard time feeling urgent. On top of that, your morning is already full. Washing your face, putting on moisturizer, maybe make up your routine already has several steps. One more step, even a short one, can feel like one step too many on a rushed morning. Your coffee is getting cold. Your bag is already by the door. In that moment, sunscreen feels like the easiest thing to skip. But maybe the biggest reason is one people do not talk about much. Some people have tried sunscreen before, and a few days later, Small bumps or pimples showed up on their skin, so they made a reasonable guess. Sunscreen clogs my skin. It is not for me. That guess makes sense. But often, the real problem is not the sunscreen. The real problem is what happens after, at night. Sunscreen usually needs a proper wash to come off fully, sometimes even a separate cleansing step before your normal face wash. If a little bit stays on the skin overnight, mixed with the day's dirt and oil, pimples can follow. The sunscreen takes the blame. But the real issue was how it came off, not how it went on. And even when pimples are not the problem, the feel of it can be. Some sunscreens feel heavy or sticky. Some leave a strange shine on the face that just feels unpleasant. A few feel almost wet, like they never fully sink in. If the one bottle you tried felt like that, it is easy to think every sunscreen feels that way and to give up on the whole idea, instead of simply trying a lighter one. There is one more reason underneath all of this, maybe the quietest one. A lot of people were never taught that sunscreen matters on gray days or indoors, only outdoors, on sunny days. Most early lessons about sunscreen come from the beach, from swim lessons, from summer camp always tied to strong, obvious sunlight. Nobody usually explains that the same rays can reach your skin through a window or through clouds on an ordinary Tuesday spent mostly inside. Without that lesson, sunscreen simply never makes the list of things an ordinary morning needs. All of these reasons make sense. You are not doing anything wrong by skipping sunscreen on a gray morning. You are not doing anything wrong if a bad experience made you stop. Today, you are going to learn why this 30-second habit matters more than a cloudy sky might suggest. So, why does the sun still touch your skin, even when you cannot see it? Let's keep this simple. The sun sends out more than light and warmth you can feel. It also sends out certain rays you cannot see and cannot feel at all. And those rays reach your skin every single day, sunny or not. Clouds are good at blocking some of the light your eyes can see. That is why the sky looks gray and dim on a cloudy day. But clouds are not nearly as good at blocking these other rays. A lot of them pass straight through the clouds and reach your skin anyway, even when everything outside looks soft and shaded. This is part of why people call this kind of damage invisible. You cannot see it land on your skin. You cannot feel it happen. There is no sting, no warmth, no signal at all. Your skin looks exactly the same when you come back inside. But it still happens, quietly, on cloudy days and clear days alike. Over time, these rays slowly change the skin, not in one big moment, but little by little, day after day, for years. That is exactly why this habit is so easy to ignore. What you skip today does not show up today. It shows up much later, long after you have forgotten which mornings you skipped. A lot of skin experts say the same thing. Putting on sunscreen every day, in any weather, is one of the simplest things you can do for your skin over the years. Not because of what happens this week, because of what slowly builds up, quietly, over time. Most of what really protects your skin turns out to be small, repeated things like this, not anything big or occasional. Here is one more detail worth knowing, especially if you spend a lot of your day inside. Many of these rays pass right through ordinary glass car windows, home windows, office windows too. Sitting near a window, even while you work or study, can mean your skin is still getting some of these rays, even though you never stepped outside at all. Maybe you sat by that same window all afternoon, reading or answering emails, and never once thought about your skin. This surprises a lot of people. Staying inside feels like full protection, but really, it is only part of the story. This is also why the habit works best as a morning step, not something you remember only when you are about to walk out the door. If you only put it on right before leaving, those quiet hours by the window earlier in the day get no protection at all. And this is why doing it once in the morning beats trying to remember it later, in the middle of a busy day. Once it becomes part of getting ready, you do not have to think about it again until tomorrow, no matter what the rest of your day looks like. Here is a simple example. There was a person who only thought about sunscreen a few times a year, mainly on vacation, at the beach, under strong, obvious sun. On ordinary days, especially cloudy ones, the thought never crossed their mind. Years passed this way. Then one day, they looked closely at the back of their hand, and then at the skin under the watch they had worn every day for over 10 years. The skin under the watch looked smoother, more even. The skin that had faced the sky every single day, including all those safe, cloudy days, looked different. They had never thought of those gray, ordinary mornings as part of the problem. But it was exactly those many, many ordinary days, not the handful of beach days, that had made the biggest difference over the years. They never felt the sun working on those gray mornings. That was the whole point. It was working anyway. Here is a second, shorter example about the pimple problem we talked about earlier. Someone tried sunscreen for a week, then stopped after a few small pimples showed up. They guessed, fairly, that sunscreen just did not agree with their skin. Later, they talked to someone who knew more about skincare. They realized something. At night, they had only used their regular face wash, the same one as always, nothing stronger to fully remove the sunscreen. Once they added one real cleansing step in the evening, made for removing sunscreen and the day's buildup, the pimples stopped. Sunscreen had never been the real problem. Their evening routine simply had not caught up with it. Here is a third example about someone who never went to the beach and called themselves an indoor person. They sat at a desk by a big window every day for years. They believed that since they barely went outside, sunscreen had nothing to do with their life. Then they learned that ordinary window glass does not block all of these rays. So they tried putting on sunscreen each morning anyway, just out of curiosity. Their day did not change at all. They still rarely left the building. They simply added 30 seconds to a morning that stayed exactly the same. Same desk, same window, every single day. So now you understand why this small habit matters, even on a cloudy day, and why a past problem with pimples might not mean sunscreen itself was ever the issue. But here is where it is easy to get this wrong. People think they need an expensive product, a long routine, perfect weather, before sunscreen is even worth trying. That is not what this is. You do not need a special occasion. You do not need to check the sky first. You only need 30 seconds every single morning, no matter what the weather looks like. Here is exactly how to do it. Finish your usual morning skincare first. Wash your face. Put on your moisturizer, if you use one. Then, right before you leave the house, put on sunscreen your face and any other skin that will be uncovered, like your hands or neck. That is the whole habit. No need to check if it is sunny. No need to decide each morning if today is a sunscreen day. Every day simply becomes a sunscreen day, the same way every day is a brush your teeth day. If pimples have worried you before, look closely at how you take off your sunscreen at night, not only how you put it on in the morning. One real cleansing step in the evening, made to remove sunscreen and the day's buildup, can change a lot. Putting it on matters. Taking it off well matters too. Keep your sunscreen where your eyes will land on it, right next to your other morning things, not hidden in a drawer. Once it sits in your sight every morning, picking it up gets easy. If the feel of sunscreen bothered you before, it is worth trying a different one rather than giving up on the habit. Sunscreens come in many textures, from thick and heavy to light and almost unnoticeable. Some even feel like a normal lotion once they settle in. One bad bottle does not mean every bottle feels the same. And if you spend most of your day near a window, at home, at the office, or in a classroom, this habit is just as much for you as it is for someone walking around outside all day. The glass by your desk is not the shield it looks like. Once you do this every morning, it becomes the natural last step of your skincare. Right after washing your face or putting on moisturizer, you stop deciding whether to do it. It simply happens. Every day, cloudy or not. So, here is what you can do. Tomorrow morning, right after you finish your skincare, before you leave the house, put on sunscreen, your face, and any other skin that will be uncovered, even if the sky looks gray. Even if you are only going somewhere ordinary, 30 seconds. That's it. So remember, tomorrow morning, before you leave the house, 30 seconds of sunscreen, no matter the weather. That is the one thing. Can you try this? I think you can. It takes 30 seconds. It costs very little. And years from now, your skin may thank you for these quiet, plain mornings. The ones where nothing seemed to be happening at all. No beach, no bright sun. Just an ordinary day, like most days are. You do not need to be perfect at this every single day. Missing one morning here or there will not undo years of habit. What matters most is the pattern over time, not any one day, gray or sunny, that slips by. We are almost at the end of today's episode, but before we finish, let me paint one small picture for you. Tomorrow morning, you look outside. The sky is gray again. No sun in sight, just like today. But this time, you do not walk past the sunscreen on the shelf. You pick it up. 30 seconds, your face, your hands, your neck. Then you leave the house, just like always. Nothing about your morning looks different from the outside. But somewhere, invisible to you, a thin layer now sits between your skin and rays you will never see or feel. You will not notice anything today. You will not notice anything tomorrow. But years from now, this is one of the mornings that quietly made a difference. Not because anything looked dramatic, not because the sky finally cleared up, just 30 ordinary seconds on an ordinary gray morning, done again and again, until it stopped feeling like a choice. Let's remember what we talked about today. The sun sends out rays you cannot see or feel, even when the sky looks cloudy or gray. Clouds block some of the light you can see, but not all of the rays that reach your skin. The damage from these rays is invisible. You will not notice it happening today. A thin layer of sunscreen, put on every morning, sits between your skin and those rays. What you do this morning shows up later, years later, not today. That is why the habit matters, even when nothing seems to change right away. Tomorrow morning, before you leave the house, 30 seconds of sunscreen, no matter the weather. That is the one thing. Now, let's go over our words for today. Sunday. The sun is there, even when you cannot see it clearly. Cloud. Clouds do not block the sun the way you might think. Invisible. The damage is invisible. You cannot see it happening. Ray. The sun sends out rays you cannot feel and cannot see. Layer. Sunscreen makes a thin layer between your skin and those rays. Later. What you do this morning shows up later, years later, not today. If this was helpful, listen again. Or share it with a friend who wants to learn English and feel better in the morning. And if you want, tell us in the comments, do you wear sunscreen every day or only on sunny days? We would love to know. 6 small words, 1 small habit, easy to remember on a sunny day, just as easy to remember on a gray one too. See you next time.